Hello, Taurus. Welcome to Soul Good. Thank you so much for being here with me. It's a blessing and pleasure to be here with you. Please do trust that whenever you've found yourself here, there is likely to be messages within the contents of this video for you. I will be mentioning a couple of specific dates, but regardless of whether or not those resonate with you, this is a timeless reading. Please use your discernment and take only what resonates with you. Do not make it your story if it isn't. I want to just share with you that I'm picking up on a thread, and I'm not sure if this is all throughout the collective or if this is just applicable to Aries and your sign so far. That being said, if you do have heavy Aries in your chart, or if Aries is one of your big three, that may be a message you want to take a look at, because there seems to be this thread of aligning with aspects and attributes of your higher self that you've been disconnected from. There are messages coming through that seem almost contradictory to what one might expect, if you will, from, let's say, an Aries or even from a Taurus. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're listening to what I'm about to share with you. As I connected with your energy, Taurus, I was getting the song Blue Moon by 𝐴𝐿, but I heard it as it is sung in the movie Selena. So that movie may be significant for you. The artist Selena may be significant. That could be a sign for someone specific, confirmation for someone specific. And the part of the song that stood out is the beginning, which goes, "Blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own." And the way that this feels, Taurus, is you could be someone who has felt isolated, who has felt separated from, disconnected from, outcast. You may have felt like a black sheep, if you will. You may have felt, like the oddball out. You may have just felt alone. Maybe you have experienced not having a lot of support or a lot of help in your experience, or even in your more recent past. There could have been a shift at some point where you were surrounded by people or felt that you had a lot of support, or that you had all the support, friends, groups that you needed. And suddenly that could have shifted at some point where you found yourself quite alone. Even if you weren't physically alone, you may have felt that way. It's bringing to mind essentially being in a crowded room but feeling like you're there alone, or sitting at a table full of people and feeling like you're just there by yourself. Okay. So take that how it resonates, but you could have felt that way. You could have also felt as though you were on, let's say, autopilot, or that you were very out of your body in a way, or that you didn't really have a direction or a purpose, that you were kind of wandering. You may have felt this way, right? Without a dream in my heart. That feels to me like going through the motions. Now, that's not to say that you haven't experienced moments of joy or happiness, contentment, peace, harmony, fun. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. That could be true, but a majority of the time, it feels as though you could be someone who was just going through the motions. Not a whole lot of enthusiasm with regard to life, not a whole lot of color in your everyday experience. For example, You could be someone who would wake up in the morning and just be like, okay, it's another day. And that's pretty much it. And just go through this routine that you go through every single day, wake up, get ready, go to work or go to school or whatever it is, come home, eat dinner, go to bed, repeat, rinse, repeat, over and over and over. It feels very, very robotic in a way. Okay. You could also resonate with being someone who didn't have, hasn't had, or does not have, okay, take it as it resonates, something to love deeply and profoundly outside of yourself or at all. Again, without a love of my own. If you were striving for some goal, some purpose, or something of that nature, it could have been something that society or your family or culture has expected of you. So if you were reaching for certain goals or loving certain things, it could have just been that that's what you thought you were supposed to be doing. It didn't really come from within you. Okay? This could also be with regard to people, more specifically children. That may be for someone specific or a very small group of people, but there's a feeling of not having this profound, deep, intimate love for anything outside of yourself or anything at all. Again, it feels like going through the motions, just existing versus living. And I just have to remind you, that's not to say that you haven't had times in your life where you've experienced fun or joy or happiness or what have you. But those things feel a bit fleeting. They feel a bit short-lived. It feels as like it's here 1 minute, gone the next, and it's back to the same old thing. There could be some dates that are specific for someone. The last blue moon from the time of this recording was August 19th, 2024. That date could be significant for you. Leo season could be significant for you. You could have Leo in your chart, or the sign Leo could be significant to you. The next blue moon from the date of this recording is May 31st, 2026. That is Gemini season. So that date could be significant. Gemini season could be significant, or the sign Gemini could be significant for you. Some other messages that I was getting coming in with this blue moon energy, and I feel as though this comes from a shift that has or will take place. This is going to depend on your journey, your path, however this may be showing up. But I was getting some phrases. So they are once in a blue moon or out of the blue, opportunity of a lifetime, idea of a lifetime, love of a lifetime, and dream come true. There's a feeling of something happening, something shifting. It feels sudden, it feels unexpected, though this has likely been unfolding for some time in its own way. There seems to be some kind of occurrence, some kind of occasion, some kind of event, something that happened or will happen, which out of the blue shifts everything. You could even go so far as to say I've been waiting my whole life for this moment. Whatever that means for you. Okay, that's going to look very different for everyone. For some, that once in a lifetime moment, that love of a lifetime is going to look very different for one person than it will for another. One person's love of a lifetime could be their person. Another person's love of a lifetime could be their child. Another person's love of a lifetime could be their craft, whatever it is they create with their hands from within them, whatever they're inspired by. Okay? So please do apply it to your own experience if it fits the way that it fits. You could have or will experience this moment that shifts everything in your life from one way of being to a completely new way of being. For some of you, this is or does include some kind of physical manifestation, some kind of shift within your physical reality. For others of you, this is an internal shift. And for some, it's, I've waited my whole life to feel at peace. I've waited my whole life to feel at home in myself. I've waited my whole life to feel like I love myself. I've waited, okay, so it can be like nothing is off the table is what I'm trying to get at. For some of you, some confirmation. I was hearing the song Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. So you could have recently had a child, or you could be a parent, and that could be the thing that shifted everything for you. That could be what shook you. That could be what shifted you, was becoming a parent. As I was saying earlier, for some, that love of a lifetime or that dream come true could be having children. Okay, so take that as it resonates. Interestingly, before I started recording, as I was preparing, I was listening to the soundtrack from AC Odyssey, the video game. And that might be significant for someone. It's not what I would typically not think to mention something like this, but I feel called to do it. So here I am. That game could be significant for you. Ancient Greece could be significant for someone, or eagles could be significant. You could have been seeing a lot of eagles. You could be pulled to ancient Greece. You could have had a deep fascination or interest with ancient Greece, with Greek mythology. You could actually have traveled to Greece. Maybe you want to travel to Greece. There could be something there with that, okay? Or you could just be someone who really, really likes the game AC Odyssey. Let's dive into the cards and see what else may be coming through for you. Why are you here, right? What messages want to be shared with you? Please, Father, Mother, Life, Christ, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves. Why is Taurus here? What messages would like to find Taurus today, please? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Taurus, I'm very drawn to the fact that the flames of my candles keep doing these little dancing. They get a little crazy, get a little wild, calm down, get a little crazy. I don't have a window open or anything. And I really feel as though my attention is being brought to this as a confirmation that this fire is stirring within you, okay? It's been stirred, or something kind of woke that fire up. Something has that fire moving within you. I hope that makes sense. So your first card says Inner Temple Devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. Your next card says share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution, expression. And you have Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. I'm getting fear coming up. If you are someone who went through an experience of having support systems or feeling as though you had a lot of friends or family and then suddenly felt as though you didn't have much of that anymore, this could be confirmation for you that that was meant to be for you to dive into yourself. There's this tune into the portal of your heart, inner temple. It could have been this opportunity for you to go within, to get intimate with yourself. Again, there's this feeling of being very disconnected from these higher attributes or higher aspects of yourself, right? Which is, it's so fascinating to me, Taurus, because being ruled by Venus, there's this love for, aesthetic. There's this love for how things feel. And what I was picking up on, tapping into your energy, things felt very bland, very gray, very colorless, very just ho-hum, right? Very like not a whole lot going on. It felt very flat. It doesn't feel like you. So this could have been an opportunity for you, whether you picked that up and that is the cause of the shift, of course, depends on your story. But this, I feel, is an opportunity, or has been an opportunity for you to get very intimate with yourself, to reconnect with these higher aspects of yourself, and maybe even more so within that heart space. To get to know yourself, these different versions of yourself. Notice how there are two beings on this card and they are mirrored. They're exactly the same. Because I feel like it's representing these different aspects of yourself which you've been asked to reconnect with. And we have this share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution, expression. And if you look in the cave, it's all gray. The only thing that has color in that cave is this being's outfit or clothing. And then outside of the cave, of course, the water has lots of color. The sky has color. So there's almost this feeling of living within a bubble, or living within a cave, or living in your own world, or maybe even, I can't express this enough because it really does feel very bland. It really does feel very just existing. Maybe you may even resonate with simply just surviving. And I say that lightly. I'm not saying that to minimize or invalidate anything that you may have experienced that has been uncomfortable or challenging or painful. But it feels as though there's really been nothing or very little that has brought this enthusiasm for life, this spark in life. And this could have been going on for some time. You may have even, to some degree or another, gotten comfortable in that space and are now being asked to step out, or have since been, or have since experienced something that has shifted you and is trying to move you out of that space into this world of color, into a more robust, more enthusiastic, more lively, connected way of living. But there is fear there. I was picking up on that. And when I said you may have gotten comfortable, when you're disconnected from yourself, when you are just going through the motions, there's this, again, kind of disconnect from anything that may be too turbulent, too uncomfortable. And there's almost this bypassing that can happen. And I feel like looking out from this perspective is intimidating, because reconnecting, and maybe this is something that you've been going through, right? Maybe you have been going through this process of reconnecting, and the shift happens suddenly, like boop, all of a sudden somebody plugged you back in and you're like, whoa, hello world. Okay, those turbulent waters in the card there are symbolizing to me the challenge of facing turbulent emotions, turbulent waters, uncomfortable things, having to navigate those, and almost feeling safer, or again, just more comfortable with sitting in your cave, being by yourself. But for some of you, this has been unfolding for quite some time. I don't know how this is unfolded for you, Taurus. Okay. I'm not being shown that, probably because it's going to be different for everyone, but something shifted where all of a sudden you're meant to be reconnecting with these aspects of yourself that you had become disconnected from. And at some point, something happened where you were suddenly reconnected with this higher aspect of yourself, or these aspects of yourself that you had repressed or suppressed or pushed to the wayside, or whatever the story may be. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, okay, I'm getting the song, who is it by? Oh my gosh, I don't know, you guys forgive me. But I'm getting the song Back to Life. Back to life, back to reality. It's like you woke up, like you've been sleeping, or you were sleeping through life for some time, even though you've been awake, even though you've been going to work or doing whatever it is you do. It's like you've been sleeping through life and someone just turned the lights on. Okay? Like it's so hard to explain, but now there's this, hey, Taurus, like, come on out. Join the world. There's this energy now that says, Taurus, get reacquainted with life, reacquainted with earth, reacquainted with people, with humanity, with the collective. Get reacquainted. But I feel that there's a bit of fear with that. There's a bit of apprehension, a bit of hesitancy, because that means having to plug back into everything. And there was something that happened at some point in your life where it was like, nope, I'm pulling the plug on this. Like, I'm just disconnecting, disassociating. I'm just separating myself from this. I'm shutting the lights off, closing the blinds. I'm staying in. But you've been guided through this. You've had help. which is where I feel like it keeps coming through to me as like somebody plugged you back in, right? Because I feel like you've not been alone in this. Even if you've felt as though you didn't have a lot of physical support, or that you were maybe isolated or cast out, or whatever it is for you, you've had help walking you through this. You've had help coming back to yourself. Spirit has been with you. Your angels have been with you. These higher beings, these more exalted beings, such as Christ, for example, or maybe Mary, for example, Sophia, whatever it is for you, you've had these exalted beings or these angelic beings that have been walking you through this, have been with you every step of the way, trying to help ease you back into this reconnection with these aspects of yourself. Maybe that's a year, maybe it's 10 years, whatever it is for you, there's been this slow reintroduction back to yourself. And again, at some point, all of a sudden, it feels like the lights got switched back on. Almost as if there's been this slow, boom, lights are on. So it may have taken you by surprise, or something happened suddenly that really sparked this enthusiasm, really sparked your life force. I hope this makes sense. Maybe you took up some kind of practice, meditative practice, prayer practice, some kind of maybe journaling or something like that. Maybe you adopted some kind of practice. Or again, for some of you, this could have been having children that like snapped you out of it. What else for okay, we're gonna take that one, thank you. What else for Taurus, please? Oh, my Lanta. Thank you. What else? Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see what else wants to be shared with you. So 8 of Wands in the reverse. That's that slow moving energy. Slow moving energy. Things taking time to unfold. That divine orchestration. Things had to happen whatever way they had to happen. Again, I'm not trying to invalidate or minimize any pain or suffering or challenges that you've experienced. And a lot of people don't like talking about things this way. And I understand why. I understand from a human, more human perspective, why this makes people uncomfortable and can be a bit of a I understand why this makes people uncomfortable, okay? But these things that we experience that are painful, that we suffer through, that challenge us, these are oftentimes where we discover our most true self. It's often these experiences that we are able to really discover what we are capable of. Again, I'm not trying to minimize or invalidate anyone or their experience, but this had to unfold this way so that whatever is coming next for you, you are prepared for. You've learned certain lessons. You've gained knowledge. You have overcome certain things. And whatever that may be for you is going to be something that is valuable to you, is a tool for you in the next stage of your experience or upcoming stages of your experience. These things often unfold over longer periods of time, especially from the time I'm recording this. We not too long ago said goodbye to Pluto and Capricorn. That's a slower moving unfolding, especially with regards to healing and addressing certain things. Things take a lot of time to unfold. With Pluto and Aquarius, things can happen much more quickly. So this has been a slow unfolding process. You can't make this up. Seriously? Slow, fast. Okay? There it is. Things suddenly picked up speed. Things started moving much faster than what they were before. Or it happened suddenly. The Knight of Wands can be this impulsive energy, but the way that it's coming through is something happened fast. It was going real slow and then boom. It's like lightning struck. And things started moving. I'm also seeing this Knight of Wands as this life coming back, this enthusiasm, this excitement for life coming back into your experience. Look at, she's cool as a cucumber. She is happy as can be, right? She's playing her drum. She's having a good old time. So there's like this sudden shift. Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. Something, again, it's a slower moving. Something was moving much slower. With that Ten of Pentacles, though, it feels almost like the life you were living before has become, in a way, almost obsolete. Whatever you may have been building before, maybe it was a career, maybe it was a family or something. And I say this with, I'm trying to be as sensitive as possible, but we can live through our programming, our trauma, our wounding, and we can build our life up around that. And once we start to heal, once we start to peel back the layers, once we start to shed that programming, once we start to reconnect with our most authentic, our most true self, we can have these realizations that we've built up this entire life around a lie, and it no longer is something that we want. It is no longer what we desire. And it's the strangest thing when that happens, because it can be friendships you've had for decades, relationships you've had for decades, jobs that you've been at for years and years and years, things that you have put a lot of time, a lot of attention, a lot of energy into, and they can suddenly be, you can be completely not numb. What is the word I'm looking for, please? It can really just be very, I don't want this. I really don't want this. And it's nothing personal. It's just that you've built up this life around your trauma, your wounding, your programming, and then you come to realize that's not you. You've been building this life around something that isn't you at all. So that's what this 10 feels like. It feels like whatever, like it feels, or it could also be that you've been, earlier I was picking up on this wandering kind of feeling, this maybe not really having a goal specific to you, or something that a purpose or something meaningful that you were in pursuit of for you. And perhaps the reason why something never really rooted in, something was never really meaningful or deep to you, profound to you, is because is to make this transition easier in a way. And I know maybe that sounds crazy, but the less attached you are to things, the less invested you are to things, the easier it is to let things go that don't serve you. So you may have been someone who has been kind of wandering on autopilot, not really having these deep-seated connections to any career or any place or any certain group of people. You may have been even a bit nomadic. Is that the word I'm getting? You may have some heavy Sag in your chart where you've been a bit transient, right? You don't really stay in one place too long, or it doesn't really matter to you, about where you live or where you work. It's just, it is what it is. And that could have been intentional. That could have been by design. That could have been to position you in this more detached energy so that it's been easier for you to transition into whatever is actually meant for you. So you had far less to let go of, to release. It may not be as painful or as challenging for you. I hope this makes sense. But this may be coming to an end. Seven of Swords in the reverse. Doing things differently. Wanting to do things differently now. Taking a different approach to how you live life, how you move through life, what you think about life. Your mindset may be very, 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 very different with regard to how you want to move forward in your experience. Hello. Like I said, if you have heavy Aries in your chart, or if Aries is one of your big three, you may want to check out those messages as well. This is, again, it's moving differently, creating this whole new foundation for how you move forward and how you build your life moving forward, how you want your empire to feel, what you want it to look like. And there's a level of authenticity with this. Not wanting it to be something that isn't you, that you don't feel deeply connected to, that doesn't feel meaningful to you. This feels like something that you want to root into and build upon. And the Two of Wands. Again, this is your personal power. It's like being bold, being original, feeling, that's how this is feeling to me. Getting out of, I'm getting fear, but getting out of what has felt comfortable, or rather getting out of what has been known thus far and doing things much, much differently from this place of personal power, from this place of being your most authentic, most original self, stepping into this powerful place where you're doing things boldly that are in alignment with you. You may have some fire in your chart as well, so it doesn't necessarily have to be Aries or Sag. You could just have fire in your chart because there's a lot of wands here. But definitely if you have Aries heavy in your chart, or if Aries is one of your big three, there could definitely be something in that video for you. Okay, let's see. What else for Taurus, please? Okay. So let's start here. We have planetary return, cyclicality, homecoming, progress. The homecoming is what's standing out to me the most, because it does feel like coming home to yourself, Taurus. Like I said, there is that thread of reconnecting to or connecting to these higher aspects, these higher attributes of yourself that you may have been disconnected from. Can't make this up. We also have here Gaia, Earth, Nature, embodiment. Coming home to yourself and embodying who you are, embodying your true nature. With Gaia, I'm also getting, of course, that earth energy, or that more grounded kind of energy, which is, of course, more in alignment with your nature, Taurus, being a bit more grounded, a bit more stable. I feel as though this is rooting into embodying your true nature. We have waning gibbous moon, harvest, reception, gratitude. Interesting that there are shades of purple, blue color in this moon phase card, and that it does have gratitude here, because there's that energy of once in a blue moon, or out of the blue, or opportunity of a lifetime. This feels like the moment you've been waiting for. Even if this is nothing showing up in your physical material experience, not some huge shift in your physical or material reality, this feels like a moment you've been waiting for. This feeling of being at home in yourself in a way that you never have before. And that has been an energy that has been coming through a lot, even with that Aries energy. I found myself saying a lot, or the message coming through a lot of like never before, which makes a lot of sense based on the planetary shifts that are happening at the time of this recording. Okay. We've just had the North Node shift. There's a lot of things that are happening. Mars is retrograde for an extended period. I mean, there are a lot of planetary shifts coming this year and in the following year. So we've just had Pluto get real nice and comfy in Aquarius, where it's going to be sitting for quite some time. So there are a lot of expectations, if you will, around firsts, around those who are currently incarnate on the planet, experiencing things for the first time in their life. And it feels as though you may have a lot of gratitude for experiencing, maybe like never before, this feeling of being at home in yourself and in the world. And yeah, again, if you have Aries, go check out that video. All right. Because here we have Scorpio, deep, intense, transformative. This has been a very intense transformation. This feels like coming out the other side of this transformation, a phoenix from the ashes, a new being, a new way of being. But again, as I said in the Aries messages, this energy is reminding me, of course, of the scorpion and the sting of the scorpion's tail. Because this transformation, this deep, intense transformation, doesn't come without a sting. It doesn't come without that bit of pain. And the pain comes often from learning the truth and seeing the lie. We don't know what we don't know, and we should forgive ourselves for that. But that realization, the truth coming through and having to face the lie, can be so painful. But it often becomes the catalyst for our transformation, for our evolution. There's a lot of potential in pain, which I know can be very touchy. It can be something that a lot of people really are repelled by. A lot of people really don't want to have that conversation. And I understand why. But it's oftentimes the pain of those lies that starts to transform us, because we can start living in truth. I hope this makes sense. This could also be a sign for you if you have some Scorpio in your chart. Let's get some final messages for Taurus, please. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but the ice in my cup over here just was making a bunch of noise. I feel as though that could be, and it was while I was shuffling. So it's almost as if while you were looking over here, this was happening over here, right? Like while you were looking off this way, this is what's happening over here. And this melting of ice, as it were, feels as though what's been going on behind the scenes is there's been these shedding of layers, of course, right? This melting away, if you will, of things that aren't serving you. Okay, thank you. You have the deer showing up here. Thank you. The bee in the out of balance position. The color green could be significant for someone. There's a lot of green. What else, please? I feel like there's one more. I'm actually hearing Bambi. For someone, the movie Bambi could be significant. That could be confirmation. The deer is earth, feminine energy. Also, mother energy. Where are you? Marco. There it is. Thank you. All right. With the deer and that Bambi energy, there could be something to do with your mother. Some kind of wounding or trauma around the mother line. You could also be someone who is being encouraged to mother yourself, to give yourself grace, to be gentle with yourself. You could have also recently become a parent. or in the not too distant past have become a parent, a mother. But it doesn't have to be only the mother, okay? You could also have recently become a father. And that could be where a lot of your focus has been. For some of you, having a child could have literally saved your life. I don't know who that's for. I don't know. It just feels like someone saying, having a child saved my life. With this bee energy, the bee is very hardworking. Very, very hardworking. And with it showing up in this out of balance position, you could have been putting you could have been I'm getting this energy of essentially slaving away to a cause or a job, career, whatever it is that didn't give back to you what you put out. It didn't have the reward that you maybe had hoped for or longed for. That's not to say that maybe there isn't any financial stability or success or comfort, but it feels as though it's not something that is or was fulfilling within you. It's not something that, again, had a lot of meaning or purpose for you. It feels like working for someone else, working for someone else's dream, working to just pay the bills, whatever it may have been. This doesn't feel very rewarding. There could also be a feeling of just working and working and working and not really feeling like you're getting anywhere, not really feeling like you're accomplishing much. Which brings me to the bat. The bat is letting things go. The bat is giving me letting go of the illusion. It does represent letting things go, releasing things. With the moon there at the bottom of the card, with it being in the reverse or in this out of balance position, it really is, it's illuminating to me the illusion. Okay, so if we turn the bat upright, it's like the illusion is the top of the card. The illusion is the goal. The illusion is what's being reached for, strived for. I'm getting fear as well. But with it in the reverse and the moon being now at the bottom of the card, it feels as though the illusion is falling away and letting go of the illusion, which, again, like I was saying earlier, one of the hardest things about our soul's evolution, and one of the things that often causes us the most pain, is coming face to face with the lie after learning the truth. Or rather, the most painful thing about learning the truth is having to face the lie. Is, oh, okay, this is the truth. Well, that means all of this is a lie. And that's really hard to come to terms with, especially if that lie has been something that you've built your entire existence, your entire reality, your entire life around. Something that I've seen more recently within the past year has been watching certain individuals with very high paying 6-figure, 7-figure jobs who spend a lot of time in university or in schooling for these careers, becoming very skilled in whatever profession and walking away from it to do something completely different, or to not even know what it is they're going to do, but knowing they just can't do that anymore because they have had to come face to face with the lie that has been built up around that. So this could be something that you also have experienced. And it doesn't have to be around career. It can be anything. Whatever illusion that you have built something up around, that falling away could have been what you experienced, coming face to face with the illusion, coming face to face with the lie, and having to make those adjustments in your life to realign yourself or to align yourself with truth, or to even figure out what that means, which is where this give yourself some grace comes in. I cannot tell you how many times throughout this journey I have asked myself, and I've had conversations with God, like, what am I doing? Because there's this shedding, and then you think you've found this space, and then there's more shedding, and there's more peeling away. There have been many times in this experience, even for myself, that you peel away a new layer, that a new layer is peeled away, and you're discovering a new truth, and you have to pivot. You have to readjust. You have to now do things differently, right? In order to align with what is now the truth. What is the new truth? The more you learn about yourself, the more wisdom you gain, the more knowledge you gain, the more intimate you get with yourself, the more you learn about yourself, the more you uncover about yourself, the more connected you become with your most authentic, your truest self, the more adjustment you experience. Because every truth you come to realize is the stripping away of another lie. It's another rebirth of sorts, and you have to pivot accordingly. I'm not saying that it has to be something super incredibly drastic every single time. So your pivot doesn't necessarily have to be this life change every single time, but it can certainly leave you asking yourself, where do I go from here? What do I do next? Which I find to be quite fascinating, because you do have this Council of Light card with these exalted beings like Christ, for example, which brings me to this nudge that I'm feeling to say that if you have a strong spiritual practice, that is what's going to anchor you every time you have to pivot. It's going to give you the stability or the foundation that you need to be able to pivot and not completely fall apart, if that makes sense. Now, that might not be for everybody. Maybe everyone listening isn't going to resonate with, wanting to pray or meditate, what have you. But I will tell you from my own personal experience, had I not had that strong foundation in Christ, and I'm not talking dogmatic religion here, okay? I don't belong to a church. Had I not had that strong foundation in Christ, I am not ashamed to say that my life would be completely different. Wow, Taurus, you have been on quite the journey. And I pray that something here has been helpful, valuable for you in some way, has provided confirmation or clarity as you continue to move along your path. Thank you again for being here. I'm sending so much love and gratitude your way. Take care of your evolving, growing, strong, powerful, bold soul. Peace be with you and within you, and I hope to see you in another chat. Bye.